but few, as many maidens would be.
Yes, guys, welcome back to another stream, man. We're going to talk some transfers. We're going to talk the state of Manchester City. How can we make City great again? Hashtag MCG. Are you part of the MCGA clan, bro?
I was here when you made it, mate. Hello?
Was you?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. You're the co-founder. Me and you are the co-founders. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
Come on. Let's go over here. We need to have a vote as well. Who is the leader? Are you the leader? And I'm the vice, so am I the leader and you're the vice?
You can be the. I don't want that responsibility. You can be the leader.
Yeah, but then if it all goes shit like pear shaped, then I get the shit in it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly. So you can.
I vote Nobbins as the leader of the MCGA 2025, guys. I'm voting Nobbins in.
Well, I vote LB. Do a poll.
Big up to all you guys, man, spamming the MCGA. Yes is in the chat. If I sound weird, I'm still ill. I'm still dying. Yeah, man, loads to talk about because City are trash. Are City trash, bro? Or are we just unlucky, or is something else going on?
In the current form of City, yeah, we are pretty poor, aren't we? You can ask questions about how we got to this point, you know, and like whose fault it is and whether it's a series of unfortunate events. And to an extent, it is, because it does feel like, excuse me, it feels like there has been like a little bit of a domino effect this season, you know, where one bad thing happens and then another, and just compounds it over and over and over again, and leads to the situation where it's just an irreparable circumstance. So there is a little bit of misfortune, but you could also contend that misfortune is self-inflicted to an extent as well. So it can work both ways. But you know, even the higher ups at City are saying we made a mistake. You know, we should have like hit the rebuild earlier. So you can only really blame our higher ups and that sort of thing. To be fair, so yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. There is some unfortunateness, and I still think that had we not had the ridiculous injury situation, I'm still convinced we would have won the title because this squad is, in my view, better than last season's. You know, the difference is we swapped out Alvarez for Savio. We needed a right-sided presence. We got one. We have been unlucky. But again, some of it is self-inflicted. So you can only be so courteous to Pep and City in that regard, because someone along the line has made a series of errors which has led to this point.
Yeah, now 100%. I'm with you. I think there's a lot that just goes in. And I think if we still have Rodri, we'd still be up there, like probably win the title. But yeah, unfortunately, like stuff has happened, injuries have happened, and it's left us with the squad. What it's done is, for me, yeah, these injuries for me have highlighted that the squad is not good enough.
Yes.
And certain players in the squad are not good enough. And some of these players might have been carried by Rodri last year, carried by Foden last year, carried by De Bruyne last year.
Well, if you think about it, so for me, this squad, as I say, is slightly better, but the issues are also the same. But as you rightly say there, what happened last season, where we had a player win Player of the Year, equaling the record for most non-penalties goals scored by a midfielder, and we literally had a player win the Ballon d'Or. Yeah. These were the levels that these individuals, and then De Bruyne came back halfway through, and it was insanity. So, you know, like these are the levels these players had to reach. We had to have like a ridiculous, you'll never see it again, a Player of the Year situation with the goal scoring, and literally a Premier League player had to win the Ballon d'Or for the first time since 2008. These are the levels that we're working with. Yeah, sorry, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm with you. And that's one of the problems we've got now, is that like we've signed. I spoke to Martin last night, and we've signed too many rotational players, haven't we? Like, that's the truth. Like, if we've been honest with ourselves, yeah, we've signed too many rotational players. The Kovacic's of the world, Gundogan coming back in should be a rotational player. Nunes is a rotational player at best. You know, a lot of these players are not starting players, or shouldn't be starting players for Manchester City, and you know, that's one of our problems. And the quality in the treble winning side compared to what we've got now is crazy. And this is why we now need to do a massive rebuild. And I don't know, just off the top of your head, but I said on my stream recently, I think it's going to cost best part of 500 million to sort this out, bro.
Yeah. I mean, because I was on the top 6 yesterday, and I was just like rattling off some players who I thought either are going to be leaving like in the summer, or they could potentially leave. And there is a world where like you're looking at around 10 or so players who realistically might go or could go, which is, sort of worrying in terms of like how big the problem is. And if you look at like the United game, for example, and if you just look at like the players who started that game, and again, I appreciate that there are absentees because of injuries, blah, 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 blah. But if you look at that and you have an honest conversation, you go, right, how many of these players would you be like genuinely happy with starting in a title challenging season? And I reckon you're looking at around 6 from that Manchester derby. The other players, you're either saying you're not good enough anymore, you're not good enough generally, or you are young and you're not quite there yet. You could get there, but you're not quite there yet. So I reckon you're looking at around 6 or so who started that derby, which is an issue in itself. So there is, as you point out, in terms of like how much money's got to be spent, there is just also a fundamental quality issue at City, which can only be resolved by bringing in more quality somewhere. And City want to win now. So it's great that we've got, potentially fantastic academy players, but we do sort of need to get back to winning now. There is going to have to be big change. I don't know how much stock there is, and what was been said on Twitter this morning, with the whole, we might sign 3 players in Jan. But that's sort of what we're looking at realistically. We need to sign at least 2, preferably 3 in Jan. Get them in the squad right now.
I agree.
Get them in the squad right now, so they don't have to do the faffing of get to August. Oh, they need a season to bed into the side. Get them in now. Yeah. Give them January to May, and they've hit the ground running. And then sign. In 17-18 in the summer, I think we signed 5 players. I'm not saying it has to be that extreme.
I think we did 2 in. Am I right? So we did 2 in January and 5 in the summer.
We definitely signed Laporte in Jan. I thought he was the only major one.
I went on transfer marks yesterday, right? And I'm sure I counted 7 players in one thing, but it doesn't. 7? Unfortunately, transfer mark doesn't separate into January and summer.
Yeah, because I know that we signed definitely Laporte in Jan. I know we signed Mendy, Walker, Danilo, Ederson, Bernardo Silva in the summer, and we definitely signed Laporte in Jan. So unless there's a player I'm forgetting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7 is Douglas Luiz. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But he's still signing. I mean,
indeed. Yeah, he was supposed to come here and play.
He was supposed to be a City player by all accounts. We just couldn't register him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there is no reason why we can't do that. There is no reason why. We've done it before. Why can't we sign 5 players in the summer again? And if we sign 2 in, let's say minimum 2 in Jan, and let's say 4 in the summer, that's still 6 players. And that goes a long way to rebuilding the squad. And then those players that we've chatted about, they can go back to, because I don't think everyone should get ditched. Let's say Kovacic, for example. I think he is a good player who has a future at City as I'm sure you agree, squad player.
As his original intention.
Exactly.
Because he was meant to come in alongside a Bellingham, alongside a Rice, alongside a Lucas Paqueta. That was the plan. We was going to sign Kovacic regardless of what happened with Bellingham. If you go back to the Bellingham hype, when we used to do the Bellingham streams, right, and we was looking up company's house thinking that he'd set up an agency in England, and we thought, he's definitely signing. You know what I mean? Like, we were still getting Kovacic anyway, because it was 25 million quid and Gundogan was leaving. So it was like just a good signing. But we spoke about this last night, me and Martin. The problem is Kovacic has come in and he's actually been playing week in, week out, which was never meant to happen. And it sounds bad because Kovacic has been really, really good, right? But we was meant to have better.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's not. I like him. He's probably been one of our best players this year, if not our best player this year. But he's not great as a 6 because we still get cut apart and he can't do the interceptions, the tackling that we need from that position. but we get away with it for a little bit, right? But he's not good enough to be starting week in, week out for a Manchester City side. As a rotational player, brilliant. And I don't want to sound like I think he's been bad, because he's not. He's been good. He's outdone my expectations. But is he good enough of what we need? Is he good as Fernandinho? No, clearly not. Is he good as Rodri? No, clearly not. He's not at the level we need in that number 6 position. But I agree. I'd keep him. Especially if you let him all this experience going. Walker, De Bruyne, Gundogan. Yeah, if all 3 of them are leaving in the summer, right? Or maybe even January, I would keep Kovacic around. Mad experience. Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Chelsea, now City. He's got over 100 caps for his country. And he's a good player. We don't need to get rid of him. So I'd keep Kovacic. I'm completely with you on that one. But I do want to move the conversation onto these rumours. You mentioned them. They've come out this morning. Tom has been speaking about it. Bruno G, brilliant player up in the northeast at Newcastle. City linked with him a lot in the summer. He was your number 1 pick. He wasn't my number 1 pick. I think it was my number 2 or number 3 pick. There are now rumours coming out that Newcastle need to sell. And I understand why, because I've looked at Newcastle's. In fact, I'm going to bring it up for you guys so you can see sort of why. In fact, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you City's incomings and outcomings, right? To give you context. Let me go to the top of it. Right, these are all the transfers City have made in recent years. Let me zoom in. Right, so, fucking hell. Get rid of that. So, if we look at City's incomings, 25 million this year, yeah? Last year, the sales, 141, right? So 120 million profit. Last year, 259 spent, 121. So we've spent about 120, yeah? The year before that, 155 out, 162 in. And the year before that, 138 out, 93 in, right? So every year, we're actually making a quite substantial profit by that 1 year, right? Now, if I was to show you the Newcastle, and just to give you guys some sort of understanding as to why they're in the mud, apparently regarding FFP, which makes complete and utter sense, let's have a look at the Newcastle one. So this year, arrivals, 62 in, 68 in, 76 out. That's decent, yeah? Last year, 148 out, only 44 in. The year before that, 185 out, 14 in. And the year before that, 130 out, 0 in. So the rumours are that sort of explains why they're in the mud for FFP. They've not sold enough players to compensate for their spending. And now the rumours are that they've got to sell a player. And they're looking at this and thinking, if they need to get quite a lot in, they're going to have to sell one of their big boys, apparently, right? Yeah. And are they going to sell Isak or Bruno? And for me, if I was a Newcastle board member, or if I was a Newcastle fan, as much as it paid me to do it, and I think BSR's a lot of BS, I'd sell Bruno over Isak, because Bruno's more replaceable, in my opinion, than Isak, because the striker market's dead. So for me, if I was Newcastle, I'm not just saying this because I'm a City fan and I want him, I'd sell Bruno over Isak all day long. But yeah, Bruno G's been the links. Tommy's been speaking about it. I'll get his comments up on screen. But yeah, Bruno G, man, you was big on this in the summer. You really, really wanted him. We didn't get him. You was annoyed. You was frustrated. But rumours saying that City might go back in from in January, bro.
Yes, very exciting. Very happy with that, obviously, and just like building back on like the list of transfers that you did just then. I mean, for City, for example, that's not even including, you know, our under 23 and under 21 sales, because on transfer marks it categorizes it as a different.
I always forget that. So like Delap, 20 million, all that sort of stuff, they're not on there. So we've made crazy profit.
Yeah, even more. And then from, I don't know Newcastle's full financial situation, but they obviously don't make as much revenue as, you know, a United, a Man United, or an Arsenal, or a City, etc. So even if they did have good sales, it might not be good enough. So yeah, Bruno, if this tweet, I don't know how real this tweet is, but if it is, this is perfect in my view. There were a number of, you know, midfielders that we could have gone for last summer. We could have gone for, you know, a João Neves. Infamously, he got snapped up by PSG. We could have gone for someone like an Onana, but he went to Aston Villa. We could have, you know, tried to go for like Zubimendi. I don't know how I would have felt like about that, but we didn't even really bother. And Bruno Guimaraes was the other one. I guess like Kimmich as well, we technically could have gone for because he was one of your preferred options as well. But yeah, for me, this is sorry, what am I looking at here? Sorry.
This is revenue.
Oh, great. Yeah. So, City make a lot of money. Whatever, people want to joke about it. The reality is City do make a lot of money. It's just a thing. The main reason why I wanted Bruno G, let's say, because instead of Zubimendi, for example, I know they aren't similar players, but Zubimendi is, because the reason why a lot of people want a Zubimendi is because he's very similar to Rodri. Therefore, he shares a lot of his strengths, which is fine. But I would actually contend that him being similar to Rodri is a bad thing because it also means he shares a lot of his weaknesses. So if you've got the two in the same midfield, that means that the weaknesses that Rodri has are just going to be compounded by Zubimendi not covering for his weaknesses. And that's going to make the situation worse. So the sort of player I'm after is someone who can mitigate Rodri's weaknesses and cover for him. So it's a nice balance. And that's exactly what Bruno is in my view, in terms of just like a covering space generally, in terms of immediately being the fastest midfielder in our entire midfield. He's not lightning quick. He's not like a Mateus Nunes, but he's already immediately faster than all our other players, certainly Rodri. In terms of his second ball winning as well, in terms of his transition defending, that's all just out of possession as well. That's never mind the in possession stuff. Like he provides another passing option as well. He's really tidy on the ball. He's one of the best players in respect of through balls. We sort of need a bit more of that. If you got Haaland in the team, we need like another play, especially if De Bruyne leaves. We can't just have Foden and Rodri having that responsibility. We need someone else to do it. He's basically everything that I want. False winger, absolutely. Rodri can't cover space that well. Bruno G was the highest in the Premier League last season in respect of covering space. So that is why, in my view, he is brilliant. There you go. Is that this season? Well, yeah. So last season, I think he was second on the list according to FBref. So I've been lied to. There you go. It's still quite high though, isn't it? 20, 26. There you go. I think that he is like perfect for like everything that City need in that midfield right now. When we talk about we don't have enough second ball winners, we don't have enough physicality. Yeah, here's the thing. So I contacted, shout out this person on Twitter. Shout out to Chung Hang 7 on Twitter, who does a fantastic second ball data. And I messaged him saying, can you let me know what is Bruno Guimaraes' second ball data? And he said that last season, Bruno won the most second balls at Newcastle. He was winning second balls at a rate of 1.27 per 90. Only one player did better than that for City last season, and that was Rodri. And that's what we need in the squad.
I don't even want to say because I don't think we'll do it. Our second ball winning, whatever you want to call it, yeah, is pathetic.
It's horrendous.
It's absolutely pathetic, yeah. Whenever a ball goes up, if we don't win the header, yeah, in the midfield, which we don't do because none of our players are tall, yeah, Rico Lewis, Gundogan, fucking Kovacic, none of them really win it, yeah. We don't win the fucking second ball. The worst one I think I've seen, yeah, was at Bournemouth. That day was absolutely shambolic, mate. Yeah, every single duel we lost. Yeah, what was it a couple of weeks ago, chat? Yeah, was it against Palace or was it the one before that where we won like 1 out of 22 ground duels in the midfield? Yeah, that's shambolic. So yeah, that's another reason why Bruno G is needed, because when I see him play for Newcastle, he gets stuck in. You know what I mean? He gets stuck in. He can win tackles and fucking win duels in the midfield. He's a bit of a dog. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's a bit of a pit bull. We used to call Rico Lewis a pit bull, man. But Rico Lewis at the moment moving a bit like a Labrador, isn't it? Like we need someone to get stuck in, mate. And for me, Bruno G I think is a perfect option. And he's good on the ball as well. I didn't realize how high up on that list he was, because this is the when you mentioned through balls, I'll bring that data up again, right? About the through balls. One of the reasons that I wanted Lucas Paqueta so much was because of this through ball. Now, Bruno G has a lot of the same qualities as Paqueta in terms of work rate, in terms of tackling, Yeah, obviously he's just slightly more of a deeper player, you would say, wouldn't you? Like Lucas Paqueta, you want him more closer to the striker.
Yeah.
Bruno G is more of like a link between the DM and the striker. Lucas Paqueta is more sort of like a 10, whatever. But other than the slight positional changes between Lucas Paqueta and Bruno G, they have a lot of the same thing. Lucas Paqueta, I say this a lot. One of the most amazing things I saw when I come to Lucas Paqueta, when we were linked with him, I was watching Sky Sports News, and on the right hand side, like they bring up stats of like players and stuff, like in the Premier League, and it goes like most shots, blah blah blah, and then it come up and said most tackles in the Premier League, and Lucas Paqueta was like third on the list. I was like, fucking hell, no way! And that's what we needed. We need someone to get stuck in, and obviously we can't get Paqueta now. Which, by the way, I say this a lot. I think Paqueta would have been amazing for this City team. Obviously, not the same position as Bruno G, but it would have been amazing for this Manchester City team. But we can't get him because of the gambling shit. And our positional requirements have changed since last year because of the Rodri injury. And obviously the downfall in Gundogan and obviously Kovacic just not quite doing it. So Bruno G is more needed right now. And I just think Bruno G, get him in, man. Get him in. I think this is going to be amazing if we can get him in.
And again, especially if we can get him in January as well, that's just like the cherry on the cake. Because again, if people do have concerns about, a certain area of his game, or can that translate to a Man City side? First of all, I think it can pretty immediately, but he's obviously not a perfect player. That's why it's important. If you can get him in January, then you have January, February, March, April, May, and then a whole preseason to get him up to how City play. And he knows, like, if there's an area of his game that Pep's not happy with, he knows, right, then I need to improve on that, don't I? And I don't care if it costs over £100 million. I think that's an investment that's worth it. And again, it's not my money, it's not your money. It's no one in the chat's money.
Thank you.
It's about what is, and also, is it too much? Is that overpriced? Yes. But this is how it works in terms of, like, when you buy an asset and the person with the asset doesn't really want to sell said asset, you have to overpay by definition. And again, it's not about what is it worth in a vacuum. What is it worth to City?
Exactly. So I have a blank background. Nothing on my background, right? Nobbins, if we go solo layout, has a beautiful shirt in the background. Yeah? Who's it, right, Phillips?
It is indeed, Shawnee.
I would like to purchase that from you.
Yeah.
Now, I've done the research. It's worth £100, so I'm going to give you £100.
Yeah, wild.
And you saying no? Now everyone's saying, but why is he saying no? It's worth £100 on eBay. Sure, right, Phillips Tops are going for £100 on eBay. Why is he not accepting £100? Because to Nobbins, that shirt is worth more than £100. But I need that shirt because I have nothing on the background. So I got to overpay. If I want that, I've got to overpay because Nobbins don't really want to sell it. Yeah. And I need it because I have nothing there, bro.
Yeah. This is how market forces works. And this is how, like negotiation works as well. It's that old adage of, that there is a price, but you often don't pay a market price. This is why it's quite foolish when people use transfer fee. There is a difference between transfer fee and market value. There's because some things do have intrinsic value, but you may need to pay for the privilege of taking it away from them. Because if you think about it from a Newcastle perspective, or just any player's perspective, not only are they selling the player, but they also need the money for the player, but they also need the money to go out and get a replacement. So they need like a little bit on top, and they need the addedness of, well, I actually don't want to get rid of him, so you're going to have to pay a premium for that. This is just how it works. So don't go, oh, but his transfer market valuation's only 65 million. I've no idea what it is. I don't care. I don't care what it is. It's about within reason. You just pay up. I don't really care. I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. You know what I mean? Just go and give him the money. We would not be in this mess had we just paid the money in the summer. And we can sort of like rectify it and see what happens. You know what I mean? And like I say, Bruno G can't be the only one, guys. Yeah, he can't be the only one. We need more. Nobbins is going to do a stream after this, doing a full squad rebuild. So maybe it'll be worth going to Nobbins' stream after this and see what see what he's got to say regarding who else we could bring in. But yeah, Bruno G for me would be a brilliant signing, and it would reinvigorate, give us some energy in that midfield. And you look at the moment, we got to be honest with ourselves, guys. At the moment, the way we're playing, we ain't getting top 4, bro. So we need this. This isn't just like some sort of like, oh, you guys are just panicking. We're not getting top 4 on this current form. Do you know what I mean? We're going to lose on Saturday, right? Then we've got Everton, which is going to be a tough game. We need players in, and I think these players need to see players coming in, because I think these players are mentally fucked. I don't think any City fan would disagree with me on that one. I think they're all mentally fatigued. Yeah, I think these players need to see new players coming in to see, like, give them a bit of a lift and that. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, this is for me something that we need to do and get it done.
Yeah, they are 100% like, you know, mentally done. I mean, the Feyenoord and the United capitulations illustrate that. I think there have been a lot of issues this season. Like I mentioned them, we've mentioned them here. I've mentioned them on my channel. Like, you know, that it's shifting. You know, sometimes there was a weird tactical decision. Sometimes it was just a fundamental athletic and squad building issue. But we're now venturing into the realms of our players look like they are mentally frail and mentally weak. When you consider that a lot of them have won many Premier League titles, or, you know, some of them have won like the treble, and we used to like say how they are mentality monsters, and now they are absolutely capitulating at the first sign of half conceding a goal. I think all of that has compounded, and now we are in a situation where, yeah, you are right. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are, how mentally strong you are. If you can only win one game in 12 or whatever it is, and let's be honest, one of those games was a bit of a fluke given how Forest set up against us, then you're going to ask questions of yourself from a mental perspective. And yeah, we're now in that situation, and it's going to be, maybe that'll be Pep's hardest problem. Will not actually be rebuilding the squad. It might be building back up the mental strength and fortitude of like our players and like that winning mentality again. Because like there might be some irreparable damage done to some of these players. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Let's have a look at some of these chats, man, that are coming in. Big up to you guys. Make sure you guys are smashing up the likes as well. And I am sorry to all the Newcastle fans that are getting upset about this. It is, you know what I mean? I think it's mad that you have to sell because of PSR, but who cares, man? We need him. Let's have a look. Big up to Amar, says he's unsure on Bruno G, but he's suffering. He accepts that he is suffering Phillips and Nunes PTSD. Nobbins, can you sort of ease the fears of Amar and many like him who have PTSD over Phillips and Nunes? Why is Bruno G going to be different to Phillips and Nunes?
Bruno G is different because there is a fundamental gulf in quality between Bruno G and those other two names. Bruno Guimaraes is, I don't know what I can say. He's an old-phase midfielder. He can contribute in every single facet of the midfield game. Now let's compare that to, say, Phillips, for example. Even at his absolute best, Phillips was not that sort of player. Phillips was never really going to be able to contribute in sort of like the chance creation / goal scoring phase of the game. You know, at his peak, it was all right in terms of like a build up progression, whatever. But Bruno G has all three strings to his bow. Nunes had a decent time at Sporting in a particular system, then struggled at Wolves. I think it's night and day between the two. It's not even comparable. Think of Bruno Guimaraes as a better Kovacic, better in every single facet of the game. He's better physically. He's better in terms of chance creation. He's better in terms of being a goal threat. He's better in respect of versatility. He's a pure 6-8 hybrid. You know, he's played out and out 6 for Newcastle. He's played out and out 8 for Newcastle. He does not share the same weaknesses Rodri has, like Kovacic does to an extent. Will there be a bit of a bedding in process? Maybe, but it will not be to any degree of like, you know, Phillips, where he was destined to fail. It won't be like a Kovacic where he's like brought in as like a squad option. This is a player who, in the current transfer market of central midfielders, is an elite player. This is like the category that we are dealing with. Hopefully that alleviated some concerns.
Yeah. No, facts. And bro, the club should never have signed Nunes or Phillips.
Indeed. And if you want more about Bruno G, go watch the video I did in the summer. 3 players City should sign, and there's a whole section dedicated to Bruno Guimaraes. All of what I said in the summer is still relevant today, so I'd recommend going to give that a watch after this stream to alleviate your concerns, Amar. Because as I say, he's all phase, can do a little bit of everything well. And yeah, the main thing for me is, again, alleviates a lot of Rodri's weaknesses. And if you like, just picture this like a box midfield. So we have 4 in midfield. Picture Rodri and Bruno Guimaraes is like sitting, and then ahead of them you've got Foden, and then another creative player. Let's say De Bruyne leaves, and then another one there. How solid is that for a midfield for out of possession and in possession? It's a lovely time.
Yeah.
Hope that helped.
Amar, PTSD, man. Just allow it, bro. Bill Jess says these injuries are carryover, Foden. Oh, these injuries are carry over from the treble season, says Jess. Yeah, the injury, listen, we've got that knowledge that the injuries are a madness. But and that is unfortunate. However, yeah, we all knew he was coming into a season with 75 games. We all knew he was coming into a season with a 33-year-old Gundogan, a 34-year-old Walker, a 33-year-old Kevin De Bruyne, Kovacic who's in his 30s. John Stones, who's injury prone, Ake, who gets a few injuries. We knew that we didn't have a backup striker. We knew these things. We knew that Savio was his first season. So, yes, our injuries have screwed us. And yes, we're super unfortunate with the injuries we've had. But we knew that that you can't just say, it's just the injuries, because we knew that it was going to get injuries. This is why I said we should have signed Trevor Chalobah in the summer. To get an extra body in there. This is why I said get a backup striker, because we knew this was going to happen. So, yes, the injuries are mad and the injuries are extreme. However, if we would have built our squad better, like we should have done in the first place, then it wouldn't have had the impact that it's had.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that, just on Chalobah, that is like another position that we do need to improve. We need a defender, preferably, who can play right back / right centre back. That's a sort of player that we need as well. Essentially a Kyle Walker upgrade is also like a position City are desperately in need for. So as much as I've been bigging up Bruno G this stream, him coming in won't save the season. Him coming in won't transform us overnight. We still need at least that area of the pitch as well. Because obviously we're going to be moving on Walker. And we need and Akanji can do a job there. But that's definitely an area of the pitch we can improve. And even better if that player is also comfortable going up, to and supporting at right wing as well, because then we've got 3 different areas of the pitch that player can operate in, or if they can tuck into midfield, like a Rico Lewis or Timber, whatever. That's a sort of player that we need as well. That'll be my second choice position to sort out.
Yeah. So there you go. Big up Jess. Big up Ian says, how much do you think we'll get for all our outgoings? I think you're going to get about 25-30 million for Edison. Walker, 5 million or less, probably free. Gundogan, free. McAtee, 20 million. Nunes, if he gets sold, 30 million. Grealish, 25-30 million. Phillips, 10 million.
Yeah. And you might need to have a chat about wages as well, because obviously Grealish will be in a lot of money. Is a team going to come in and pay what we're paying him, so that we might have to do a situation where we pay a portion of the wages, for example, for some of these players. Again, I don't know what they're on, but yeah, that seems, yeah. There's not going to be any massive sales in terms of an individual. I don't think. We're not going to see an Alvarez, where he went for 60 or 80 million.
We ain't got them players.
Yeah.
We haven't got a player like that, and the ones that we do, we don't want to sell. The only players that are worth mega money is players like Diaz, Foden, Haaland.
Yeah. And like Rodri Cavado, players who we want to keep and build around. Yeah, exactly. So in terms of our Deadwood, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it really matters how much we get. If we take a hit on them, we take a hit on them. It's absolutely fine. And we went through the transfers earlier. City haven't had a big spent gross, net spending a window in a minute. So it doesn't really matter too much. Hopefully, if we take it, I think at this stage it is just a case of get them off the books. And a player like De Bruyne, I would still be open to keeping him for like a year maybe. But if he did go, then that's a massive wage bill off, the balance sheet, and that should open things up a little bit from a City perspective as well.
Yeah, fair enough. And big up to MCFC for the final one here, saying they have to sign Bruno at all costs. I don't care what happens. If they don't sign him, it's already a failure of a window for me, says MCFC. Yeah, they've got to get someone like him of his quality. If they don't get Bruno G, it's got to be someone of the same quality. I completely agree. And I think we need more than that. We need 2 or 3 players, like Nobbins was saying earlier. Big up to you, bro. I did want to ask you about the weekend's game, because we've not spoken really about it, other than a few text messages. I mean, just
we?
We do, because I need to speak to you about it, bro. Because we normally do our show on a Monday, but we did it yesterday. What's your sort of, how are you feeling about that game on Sunday, man? Another match we've lost. I think it's unacceptable the way that we lost it. I think Nunes was at fault for both of the goals. If you actually look at the second goal, I didn't even realize until I watched it back. It should be him that's tracking Diallo. And he just lets him completely run off him. Yes, Gavardio. Yes, Edison. But if he tracks the runner, he can stop Diallo shooting in the first place. Yeah. Did you go to the game?
Yeah. It's a hard one, isn't it? Because it was just really deflating, because it should have been 1-0. It should have been, and we should be sat here having a lovely time, going ugly win, not playing particularly good football, but who cares? Because we were, and we are, one before that game, was it 1 win in 11?
Mm-hmm.
Literally all that mattered was getting the win. I didn't care about how we played, quite frankly. Especially because it's a derby day, all I cared was the fact that we needed to win. And if you're in the 86th minute and you're 1-0 up, you win the game. That is what happens. That is what must happen, especially if you are at home. That is simply what you never don't win from that point. It just has to happen. Or well, you certainly don't lose anyway. That definitely can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we did. And that speaks to what we were talking about earlier, with the fact that there is just a mental frailty and a mental fatigue and a mental weakness with a lot of these players right now, and which is unacceptable, obviously. In terms of, and it's such a shame, because from a tactical perspective, it was actually a really interesting match, certainly from City at least. We set up in this really, really odd manner. Obviously, Nunes played as a fullback, and despite the errors, I thought he was all right. It wasn't brilliant, but I thought he was fine, considering that he's playing a fullback for the first time in his career. I thought first half we were obviously much better than United. We scored the goal, whether it was fluky or not, it's irrelevant. We scored the goal, and then from there, that informed how we were set up in the second half. Now, and this is where we can maybe have like a debate about whether this was the correct approach, because lots of people are going, "Oh, United, dominated the play in the second half, and City couldn't get near them." Blah blah blah. But the reality is that City let them do that. Now, you can have a conversation about whether that was the correct or incorrect approach. I actually thought it was probably the correct approach, because we all know how terrible City are if they try to go for more goals and they inevitably get hit on the counter-attack. So what City did, and the data shows this as well, is that City, their pressing intensity halved objectively based on the data. Now that was clearly an instruction by Pep to preserve the 1-0 lead. Now, again, you can look at that as an error if you'd like. Maybe City could have gone for the kill, but given how bad we've been in the past few games, I don't even know if that's a possibility. So I didn't necessarily disagree with the approach by Pep, and even then, again, outside of our own ridiculous individual errors, United didn't create anything. The one thing they created outside of the goals was when Doku gave it away against Mazraoui, and then Walker just did not track the run of Bruno Fernandes. That was what United did. That's what they created. And so, of course, United won. And of course, there's now been all this mass analysis of how Amorim destroyed Guardiola, blah, 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 blah. I'm not trying to take it away from United because they did win. Fair enough, obviously. But I'm not having it that this was some sort of tactical masterclass and that.
No, our players capitulated.
Yeah, exactly. I think that let's be honest, because you sent me the clip of, a Grealish just for no reason passing it backwards in like the 86th minute on our own corner.
I was speaking about this after the game, right? So check this out, chat, yeah? This is a fucking disgrace, yeah? This is in the 88th minute of the game, right? We're winning 1-0, right? And this is what Thierry Henry was speaking about yesterday on Monday Night Football. We have a corner, right? You've now got the worst corner you've ever seen. You remember the Grealish corner where he whips it in the 88th minute and it just hits the front man, right? I said, first of all, during that game, at that point, is it too early for us to keep the ball in the corner flag, right? From that corner, right? This is what Thierry Henry was saying last night. I thought it was mint. Grealish has the ball here, yeah? We're winning 1-0 with minutes to go, right? Then what happens is, I've got to just take this off screen every time because otherwise I'll get copyrighted.
He's got the. I was going to say he's got the opportunity there to like direct how the rest of the team should act. Because if he goes forward or he goes into the corner, then the rest of the team go right. Now, if he goes backwards and the other team are forced into whatever he wants to do, so he's basically in charge of what we do here.
Yes. So then you look at where the ball is now. It's here with Kyle Walker in the middle next to Henry's hand. One of the problems that we've got here is the ball's there, right? And Thierry Henry goes to speak about this, so he doesn't mention this exact point, is the two players out of the three that are back in the back line from that corner is Kyle Walker and Matheus Nunes. Two players that are horrific on the ball when they're being pressed. So what happens is the ball goes backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards. So we ended up with a corner, that we could have whipped in a proper corner. We could have kept it in the corner flag and wasted time. But what we've done is we've ended up playing the ball backwards to two players who are unable to keep the ball under pressure. And when you say under pressure, that doesn't look under pressure. But then if you scroll forward a little bit, look at United starting to press us. And look at this Nunes now. Nunes can't receive the ball from Walker and go forward or drive in field because he's not confident enough on the ball. He's not good enough on the ball. When Walker gets the ball back, he's got the ball there. He has to go backwards. He passes the ball over to the left-hand side. Why? Because he's unable to take the ball and go forward with it. So what happens is, we have the ball in the corner flag. Because we don't go forward or keep it in the corner, we play it back thinking, oh, yeah, this is a good idea. We'll just pass it backwards and keep the ball for the last 5. The problem is you pass into players. What you need there on the halfway line, you need a John Stones, who can receive the ball and then just go forward with it and put us back on the forwardness. But we keep passing the ball to people who can't do that. So they keep going back. Walker passes the ball to Nunes. Nunes is an idiot. He doesn't kick the ball back to the goalkeeper properly. The guy gets the ball, and then what does he do? He goes in there and takes Abad Diallo out and gives a penalty. And that all comes from just bad decision-making in terms of passing the ball backwards and not keeping the ball up. You want to keep the ball away from our goal. We're going towards our goal. We're like, come on, United, press us. And the two players that are involved most in that goal, Walker and Nunes, were the two worst players on the pitch for having the ball under pressure. And that's why we kept on going back and back and back, because they can't move the ball forward. Yeah, Nunes is an idiot. He doesn't kick the ball properly. But that's not the actual reason. The reason is we shouldn't have been in that area in the first place.
Yes.
And if we go back to that area, you need players who are able to receive the ball on the halfway line with United players running at them, but can put us back on the forward trajectory. And that's why we ended up screwed ourselves over. And Henry, if you've not watched it last night, Thierry Henry, it was literally going sick at City and saying, what the fuck are we doing? What were we doing? Horrific. Grealish had the chance to take a player on. He didn't. He goes backwards. We just go back and back. And it's unacceptable. That has to be called out at this football club. What are we doing? We're literally inviting United to press us with the two worst players on the pitch to do that. If it was John Stones and Akanji, it wouldn't be that bad. Because we've all seen it. John Stones got the ball in the halfway line and he's got a striker pressing him. He doesn't just pass the ball. Sometimes he'll just run past the player. But we can't do those two players. So for me, like, I don't know, man. It's just pissing me off because I think Bernardo Silva called it correctly. When you're watching it, it's like watching a bunch of under 15s who don't know what they're doing tactically. Yeah, they might be good. Like some of these academy players might be good on the ball and that, yeah, or whatever. Look, mint, score a couple screamers, but they don't have the tactical brain because they're so young. And Bernardo Silva called it out after the game and said, we played like a team, like an under 15s team in the last 10 minutes of the game. And then when you watch someone like Thierry Henry break it down, and it's not even that complex, not sitting here saying, I don't understand what you're saying, Thierry Henry. I understand it clearly. What are we doing?
I think that it also speaks to, again, the confidence issue. A lot of these players, I think, are scared to, go forwards and attack because they know that if they do, there is a big risk that we will concede a goal, basically. So I think that maybe that's also like informing their minds. Well, it's like maybe Grealish's thought process there is.
But Nobbins, what have we said throughout this whole period? Yeah, this conservative approach of playing nice. It's causing us our own problem. We said this is not a reactionary thing. People who've watched the El Bin show for the last 6, 7, 8 weeks will know we've said this. One of the problems that we've got is this conservative approach, this having Bernardo in the middle, Gundogan in the middle, Rico Lewis in the middle, yeah, and going for control, you think is a good idea. It's actually the downfall of this team that we're so going for this control. And this goal, the first goal with the penalty, came from that again. Grealish has got the ball on the left-hand side. He can take the ball back to the corner flag. I don't mind controlling the corner flag. Yeah, because of the corner flag. Fucking hell, you're going to lose the ball in the corner flag and concede a goal.
You're wasting at least a minute there, at least.
Yeah, I don't mind him. But this thing, if Grealish has got the ball and he's gone, I'm gonna keep the ball. I'm gonna pass it backwards and keep the ball. That was the trigger for the goal. If you look at it, that's what caused the goal. The goal wasn't necessarily just caused by Núñez passing the ball backwards and then fouling the player. They were the main actions. But what put that into motion was the decision to go backwards in the first place.
Definitely. I'm not trying to justify it at all. I just think that just trying to explain maybe why they're doing that. And again, it's wrong that they are doing that. They are clearly scared of the impact of what happens if you lose it. But the way to think about it should be, well, take him on and buy a foul, because Grealish, we all know that Grealish is great at buying fouls. So that kills like 60 seconds, and then maybe you can look to pop it into the box, but actually you just play it into the corner. Win another, to the corner flag or win a corner. That's killed off another minute. All of a sudden, it's now the 88th minute, and you've still got possession in the corner flag, rather than it's the 88th minute and you've just conceded a penalty. So it's actions like that are basically schoolboy. And again, considering that these are our treble-winning players who are making these decisions, it does come across as very bizarre, and I don't even know how to begin to explain that. It's foolish, it's stupid, and we are, as the weeks and months have gone on, we are our own worst enemy every single time, every single time. And it's annoying because we should be here going, 1-0 win, wasn't great, but weren't we defensively solid in that second half? We didn't let up anything, didn't make any silly mistakes. We can build on this win now. The mentality's there, but it's the exact opposite now. So I personally think that Pep got it right, and I'm having a look at those players making those errors. Whether it's Grealish, whether it's Núñez, Ederson, Gvardiol, whoever. I'm looking at them and going, you cost your manager today, and that's a shame.
Yeah. But the thing is with Pep, people blaming Pep for the result against United, which I don't think so. But whether he got it right, did he get it right? Who knows? But he certainly did not get it wrong. He certainly did not get it wrong. Yeah, when you're 1-0 up in the 88th minute, and you've limited United quite a lot there. But yeah, what the players did there was poor. And LB, I'm kind of with you. It's almost a cowardly action. It's cowardly from some of these players just going back all the time. Yeah, get on the ball. This is what we need. We need these players to fucking stand up, have some responsibility. Grealish, go to the corner flag. The 88th minute. Take the player on. Go forward. Going backwards. Passing it backwards to Walker and Núñez. Bro, what the fuck are we doing? By the way, yeah, Núñez is not good enough for this football club. He's not. He's not good enough. Yeah, people do this thing last year with, oh, you got to give him another year. No. I tell you why you don't give him another year. It's because he's not good enough. Pep don't trust him in the midfield. Yeah, otherwise he would play midfield more. So what are you going to do? We're going to keep him as a squad player. All right, Mint. Squad player for what? Squad player for third choice left winger. Because if Grealish gets sold in the summer and we buy another left winger, you've got Doku and the new left winger. So you're going to be third choice left winger. What? And then just a random guy. He's not good enough. Get rid of him. Yeah? This isn't just because he made errors against United. He's not good enough. Pep don't trust him. What's the point in him being here? And yes, he's been one of our better players this year. But you've also got to understand that half our team's been crap this year.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it is wonderful if he is having a positive season this year. But first of all, where is he having a positive season? Not in the position we sign him for. And then secondly, again, that's all well and good, but what's the long-term future of a player like him? I'd like him to succeed, but it just seems like it's not going to happen. The on-ball improvement hasn't worked. And I still maintain that it's given City's current squad and the injuries, it still makes sense to pop Núñez in the midfield alongside Gundogan, who can do the ball control for him, basically, because we still need his physicality there. But that's just, I don't want to be saying that, but that's the state we're currently in. But yeah, realistically, if we do sign some more physicality and athleticism, that's the only reason I want Núñez in the team right now. Then what is his future? And the answer is he doesn't really have a future.
The thing is, though, Nobbs, yeah, I'm with you. I'd play Núñez in the middle right now. But he's not getting played in the middle because Pep don't want him in the middle because he don't trust him in the middle. So what's the fucking point?
There isn't one. Exactly. There isn't one.
I'm happy to keep Núñez as a squad rotational player for the midfield. But what's the point if Pep don't want to play him in the midfield and never plays him in? He plays him a couple of times. How many times has Núñez played in midfield for Man City? Should we check?
This season, this season it's twice he started in midfield. One against Watford, one against Feyenoord. It's only twice.
Have a look. Been here, 18 months?
I can't remember. I mean, I don't even know how many games he's...
18.
That's definitely not. Well, is that starting or coming on as a sub, though, to be fair?
1 sec, I'll tell you. He started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times he started as a central midfielder. The rest he's been subbed off. And by the way, one of those he got hooked at halftime against Wolves last year.
Right, yeah. He's played out wide and at fullback collectively more times than he has in central midfield.
So he's a £50 midfielder who started in midfield 9 times since last season. So what's the point in keeping him? If we're going to sign Bruno G, if we're going to sign another player, Rodri's back in the summer. No, I'm not talking about January, beyond belief. I'm talking about summer. What's the point in keeping him? It's like McAtee. What's the point in him being here? This is going back to the conversation I had with Martin last night. It's all well and good saying, oh, we've got a 23, 24-man squad. Well, not really, though, have we? Because Wilson Esbrand ain't a real player in this team. McAtee never plays. So knock them out, yeah? Núñez, next year, won't play. Because if we get another left winger, he's going to be third choice. By the way, yeah, how many of those left winger times that he played would he have actually started if Doku was fully fit?
Well, that's the thing as well, isn't it? Yeah, that was when both Grealish and Doku were out, I'm pretty sure.
He played left wing a lot of the time when Grealish and Doku were both injured. So would he have started then if Doku or Grealish were both fit? Probably not. So I just don't understand that. I'd just get rid of him in the summer. Personally, I don't think he's good enough. He's not good enough on the ball. Pep don't trust him in the midfield. And for me, if you're not trusted in the squad, get rid of him because the point is being here. And yes, Núñez has had a good season, but he will not be playing for his team next year in terms of minutes if we buy players properly. Because where's he going to get in the squad?
Yeah, he won't. And then you also consider if we want to go, playing him in a more advanced midfield role. And it's like, yeah, but we want to sign one of those players. And then Bob's also going to come back into the team. He can play in an advanced midfield role as well. And I'd rather Bob play over him there. So, yeah, it's a shame it hasn't worked out, but we knew at the time it was a panic buy. It's a purchase we just should never have made. We couldn't get Bellingham, and then we couldn't get Rice, and then we couldn't get Paquetá. Genuinely, it would have been better to have no signing there than signing Núñez, because now it's given us this weird situation where we've sort of got to try to use him, but it's not working. and it's just like a waste of money in terms of like transfer fee and wages, and he's got a contract. So if he doesn't want to leave, technically he doesn't have to leave. He can do what he wants. That transfer is just like all weird, all really weird. I don't really get it.
On Nunes, before we move it on to our final topic, before you alive, did you actually think he played well? Because I thought he was rubbish. And then I go on Twitter, and then people were saying that he actually had a mint game up until that. I just thought he was trash the whole game. I'll be real with you. But what did you think?
I thought he was all right. In fairness, yeah. I think you got to bear in mind the context of the fact that he's not a left back and he was playing at left back. And I'm not saying it was this wonderful
I understand,
masterclass, but within the context of the game, I thought he did all right, considering that he was up against Ahmad, who was obviously the best player on the pitch, and he was like tasked with dealing with him for a lot of the game. And obviously Ahmad beat him quite a bit, but I thought Nunes, again, with context, did okay. Obviously, the mistakes are the mistakes, but it wasn't like this stellar 10 out of 10 brilliant performance, but it was like fine, I thought. And again, given the context of he's never played left back before, that's maybe what made me go, oh, actually, he's done decent there. But yeah, it wasn't like there's anything to write home about now.
Okay, fair enough. Good off balance. Let's have a look at some of these chats then before we go. Big up to you guys. Make sure you guys smash up these likes. Nobbins is going to go live in a few moments' time as well, doing a full squad rebuild on his channel. So make sure you get over there. We've redirected over to you. Big up to Jamie, says, is this the worst run ever under this ownership? Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. I think it's like the worst run we've had in like fucking 20 odd years or something. Mate.
Yeah, I mean, we were breaking records not seen since Stuart Pearce. So yeah.
It's not good, man. It's not good. Big up Jamie, mate. Yeah. Big up Cool Guy, says, big up LB and Nobbins. Do either of you know the situation about Paqueta? Would you guys be happy if City buys him in January? I really wanted Paqueta, bro. I was gutted. And I think the through balls, it was one of the highest players in the Premier League last year for through balls. That would help Haaland. Yeah. He's aggressive. Yeah. He's got that dog in him. Yeah. So in the midfield, we actually win some duels, which is good. But we're obviously not going to buy him with the gambling charges. I don't know what's going on with the gambling charges. Not heard anything for a while.
No, I just know they're very serious. That's what we're talking. We're not just talking about what I can't remember what the technical term is. Spot something or other. It begins with spot. It's spot, not spot washing. Spot something or other. It's basically where he's actually influencing the results potentially. Like that can potentially do criminal charges.
Yeah. Well, Tony got
very
banned.
Serious.
Yeah, Tony got banned. My understanding is for betting on himself to score goals, right? Which, listen, you're obviously not allowed to do it. And he tried to. He went on that podcast with the CEO guy and was like,
spot fixing. Thank you. Yes,
spot fixing. Yeah, Tony went on the podcast with Diary of a CEO guy and went, I didn't realize that you couldn't bet on yourself to score goals. And I was like, you fucking idiot. Of course you did. You're not allowed to bet on football, mate. You're an idiot. Yeah, so stop lying. But at the same time, betting on yourself to score goals is not exactly like the worst crime in the world, right? It's not.
Because if anything, you might want to play better.
You might want to play better. The
in
only
theory,
thing you could argue is like, say you're one-on-one with a goalkeeper and you've got your teammate right next to you who's got an open goal, and you decide to shoot and the keeper saves it because in the back of your mind, like you need to score, right? But at the same time, it's like not the worst thing in the world. Lucas Paqueta, my understanding, is betting on himself to get like bookings and shit like that.
Yes, exactly.
Which for me is a lot worse because then you're more influencing the match result. Because if you got a booking because you betted on yourself, then you can't make another risky tackle. Maybe they're breaking on the counter attack, and you could take a tactical foul, but you can't now because you're booked. Whereas if before you didn't get booked, then you could take them down. They go on and score. Blah 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 blah. It's just worse. It's just much more worse.
Yeah, well, as I say, I'm pretty sure it carries criminal charges. That's how bad it is. Like Tony's not in prison. But if Paqueta gets proven, then he will go to prison, as I understand it. That's how bad these charges are. Yeah. Yeah,
it's not. So we have to wait for that. But yeah, it's not looking good. And the fact that their own sponsor grassed him up. Yeah, it was what who they sponsored by? Who's it called? Betway. Yeah, Betway, who sponsor West Ham, were the people that grassed him up.
That is funny.
That brings the West Ham into a bit of a shit, which then brings them into the shit because they're the sponsor of the football club. So yeah, I'd love him, Cool Guy, to answer your question, but until that betting thing goes away and you get like a legit sign off,
exactly,
you can't go anywhere near him. Big up to LB says it's cowardly we passed the ball back so much. Big up to you, bro. Sahil says we need to sell so many old players. What happened to old City tactics? One touch passing, tactical fouling, people attacking the box, pressing the opposition. We need to get young, hungry players. 20 to 26, says Sahil. Yeah, we definitely need to bring the age of the squad down. I know Bruno G's like just turned 27 or whatever, and some people have concerns about his age. I don't think that's an issue. You know what I mean? Personally, I would like to see a couple of players in that 25 to 26. I don't want to go too young. But that 25, 26, 27, that for me is the age that I think we need to get into, because we need a little, because remember, you don't want too many young players, 20, 21, because you want to be winning Champions League and you need experience for that. But you don't want 28, 29-year-olds, because then you're going to be in the same situation in 2 or 3 years. So, 25 to 27 is your sort of golden era for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we don't have that many players in the squad right now who are sort of in their prime that you'd say. You'd say Rodri is, you'd say Ruben Diaz is. There might be some others, but it seemingly they're either, young-ish, younger than 25, or they're, older than 29.
Yeah. I agree. Final one, big up to KP Masters, says, would you have Milan Skriniar as another centre-back in January, says KP Masters. I've not really kept up with his career since we were linked with him about 3 or 4 years ago, so I don't know how he's doing.
Yeah, he doesn't... I think it's like I don't know his exact age, but I feel like he would go in... I might be wrong. I feel like he's an older centre-back.
Well, he's been around the game for a while.
That's what I mean, yeah. So I feel like he's not on my radar in terms of like defenders who I would want to bring in. I'm looking for someone a bit more versatile, and I'm looking for someone maybe a bit younger also.
Yeah, he's got to be at least 28, 29, because he's been around football for
I feel like I haven't seen him in years though. Like, has he got like a massive injury or something? I feel like I never see him play.
Yeah, I don't really watch too much Italian football, to be honest with you, so I don't really know.
He plays for PSG nowadays, doesn't he?
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He used to play for him. We went in PSG on a free, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I wonder why that's... people say he's being kicked out of Madrid, PSG. That's probably why KP Masters has asked it then. So he must be going on. He's been kicked out. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, see what Nobbins says. He's going to do a stream right now. I'm going to redirect you over there. Full squad rebuild, guys. Will it be in the form of FIFA style, money no issue, or will it be more restricted? You'll find out the answer to that question on Nobbins' stream starting right now. We're going to redirect you over there, guys. Over 600 people tuned in. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy the show. Do me a favor before you go over to Nobbins', just hit that like button for me, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Newcastle fans, hopefully I didn't upset you too much speaking about Bruno G. Yeah. By the way, I do completely agree that PSI is a lot of nonsense. Yeah, so don't come at me. I'm just talking about my football club. But yeah, smash the like. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. 600 people live in here. Let's see if we can get 300 people over to Nobbins' channel straight away. The stream will redirect you. Have a look in the live chat. It'll say go over to Nobbins, and it'll come up on the screen as well. And yeah, I'm going to be watching. I'm going to see who's signing. So yeah, smash the like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.